talked to me by my uncle, who just happened to be student teaching at my public high school in Missoula, Montana at the time. And he started one of the first native language speaking classes in a public school in the country. And I was like, fantastic, I hate Spanish. So I dropped out of Spanish and I started taking my uncle's Blackfeet language class. And I got a chance to meet my uncle and learn a little bit about my language. And I remember my adopted family being very excited. You know, they were like, oh my gosh, you know, this is finally a piece of Mike's identity that he can get in touch with. And I have an auntie that's a crier. She cries all the time. And I had a cousin getting married. And again, just for those paying attention, this is my adopted family. I had a cousin getting married. And she's like, it would be really cool if you could give a blessing at the wedding in Blackfeet. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I'll ask my uncle. And I said, great. But we never connected. Like, he went back up to Browning that summer and he never taught me the blessing. So I was really nervous, and my auntie came up to me at the reception and she's like, are you ready? And I was like, my head said, say no, say no, say no. Like, she started crying and I was like, sure. So I get up and it's like, I get up on the dance floor with this microphone and I was like, alright, here we go. And I said, almost skippy, not Phoenix, you know. And I was real dramatic about it. You know, just waterfalls, just tears everywhere. And she comes to me and she said, Michael, what does it mean? I was like, may you have a long, happy marriage and may you be blessed with many children. It's not exactly what it means. And to this day, they don't know this. Roughly translated, it's here's $10, go to the store and get me milk and church. I still don't blame myself for this. I started learning, you know, my history from my birth family. Things in history class started not to make so much sense anymore. Started getting kicked out of American history class for laughing. And I know I've talked to students today, they still try to pull this. They still try to get up in front of the class and say, Columbus was a hero when he discovered the new world. Let's just think this out. If there's someone there to greet you, I mean, like me walking around in this hotel going up to the front desk and I'm saying welcome and me saying nope. This is a brand new hotel. Show me your corn.
Oh God.
But things are changing, things are getting better. And it's because of everybody in this room collectively working. And I think we get really bogged down in statistics about where we are as a country or, you know, where we are as individual communities. When statistics mean they're great for getting a big picture, like Louis talked about that, seeing everything. But you don't affect everything unless you focus on individuals. And that's what you guys do very well. Every day you focus on individuals, and collectively that's going to start changing things. I'll tell you one last story because this just happened to me a few months ago. I was in line, I was at the grocery store. I was in the produce section, and I had a head of lettuce under my right arm, and I was reading the label on the bottle because I'm old and I do that now. And standing there just like this, and this woman comes up to me, about my mother's age, maybe a little older, and just gets way like way close, like right next to my face, and says, "Do you need assistance?" Now this happens 2 to 3 times a week. Okay, and generally my response is, "No, thank you, I'm fine." They feel better for having offered. I feel better because they're gone. When this lady was persistent, she stood there really awkward for like 30 seconds. And then she said, "Are you sure you don't need assistance?" And as comfortable as I am in front of a big crowd, like one-on-one, I get super awkward really quickly. So, like, plan A didn't work, so I was like, So I turned and ran away. And the worst part about that story is I was so nervous, when I turned, I dropped the lid. They just scowled at me. I knew you needed assistance. So I tell you that story so I can tell you this, and this happened to me not 5 minutes later. Because, like coffee's my comfort food. I don't know if that's just, like, part of our culture, but I really find comfort in coffee. I can't leave the Reds without having 3 pots of coffee at Big Janty's house. It takes all day, and then I show up at home wired. Funny, it's another correlation. So I'm in line at the coffee stand right next to the grocery store, and I'm waiting, and there's these 2 little boys in front of me with their mother, and and they're just fascinated. They're hiding behind the lane, like, "Oh wow," just staring at me, and like, "We've never seen one like that before." And I fully expected the mother to do what? That ninja, like, "Don't stare," and like flip their kid around, because that's the standard response. And again, history, the reason the parents do that, and they say "don't stare," is because they weren't conditioned to know what to do in that situation. But what we have to get away from is having that response. Because a kid isn't staring at my hand because they think there's something wrong with it. They've never seen one like that before. That's why they're staring. So when they get yelled at, they're not saying, "I'm going to be respectful and nice to anybody with a disability," from that point on. They're making that connection that says, "They're different, I just got yelled at." And that's what you're doing. That's perpetuating the cycle. So I really appreciated what this mother did. Fully expecting her to whip her kids around and say, "Don't stare." She pushed them toward me. And she said, "Sir, my boys would like to ask you a question." I was like, "Cool." So they look at me with these big blue eyes, and they're like, "What's wrong with your hand?" And I gave them the 5-year-old response. I said, "I was born without the thumb. This is my index finger." And you can see the gears turning and them processing what I was telling them. And they was looking at me. Cool. Have you ever seen E.T.? Yeah, that's like E.T.'s hand. And now we're friends on Facebook. Thank you. I